So, hello everyone. Thank you for coming to CWAA's reading event. If my voice sounds like it's shaking, don't worry, I'm just nervous. So first, I'd like to start off with a couple thank yous. Thank you to our Dean, Nora Chapman, our chair and CWAA advisor, Melanie Hernandez, and another thank you to Instructionally Related Activities for funding this. And also, I would like to thank my editorial staff, who, just a moment. Jefferson, can you hand me that?
Yes.
The journal. Yes, perfect, thank you. I would like, where is it? Okay, so I'd like to thank our editorial staff, which is Graciela Sierra Moreno, who is our president, Aidan Castro, our vice president, Ermelinda Hernandez, the treasurer, Melanie Hernandez, the advisor, Juan Huerta, myself, I am them, also my pronouns are they, them, Shelby Pinkham, Ashley Rivera Garcia, and Cristina Sandoval. Period. Okay, so should we just get straight into it? Yeah, let's go with our first reader, Shelby Pinkham.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Jefferson. Thanks for the introduction, Juan, and thanks, CWAA, for including me. I appreciate it. I'm going to read two poems, the first of which is titled in here, Fish Bricks. It's on 66 if you want to take a look at that. And this one is like a chopped and screwed version of another poem that I've written for my thesis, titled Apocalypse Anxiety at the Site of 40,000 New Oil Wells. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm native to Bakersfield, and there were 40,000 new oil wells approved within the last few years, and those oil wells are, of course, closest to brown and black communities. So I was thinking about that. I measure distance between old wishes, those randomly interspaced ears, hungry, press my windows to doors, and to bottom, I can't, trying to find where, to bottom, I can't bottom, I can't from. If you die coming, you stay. If you die hungry, you stay. If you die hungry, 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 you stay. You stay, you stay, you stay hungry, you stay. If you die hungry, you stay hungry, hungry. I forgive whole years of November. I forgive whole years of arrival. I forgive whole years of ice. Whole years of November arrive, icy relief, hungry, hungry, a highball glass, one aching gulp, every knife dulled or shattered, on enchanted organ, those randomly whispering, pressing my hungry to doors, windows trying to find they're coming from. And the second poem I'm going to read is titled Toxic Ideologies, and this is thinking about the place of rage in my life. I have a lot of it, and I think it's healthy, and I hate that we are a society that suppresses rage. Sometimes I kiss you with my father's anger, release bad, bad. I'm not looking for good, I'm not bad, so bad, so bad. Toxic ideologies, I'm not good, shame. I'm not looking for good characters, I'm not looking for bad characters. I'm looking for complicated characters. What I've found is complicated anger. I release the notion that I need to be cured. Thank you.
Yes, anger. Be mad at everything, guys. It's great. So for our next reader, well, first, thank you, Shelby. That was amazing. For our next reader, we have Faith McKesson, and hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Faith.
I'm going to be reading my poem Big, which is on page 60. He had called me just minutes earlier. Come outside if you can. Wasting no time, tripping over myself. The silence in the house was now interrupted, the bottom of my sandal slapping my heels like a jockey demanding speed from his horse. We met outside, just us and the moon. You've gotten so big, a statement always making me feel small. I embraced the frame of my father immediately, ignoring the face of the man who gave me my own. If I look too long, I'll see age at work. I missed you so much. I hide in his shoulder, the cologne that joined him at recitals, graduations, parties, funerals, and dances, now met me here in a driveway. I wept, I sniffled, I apologized, I repeated, "You're getting so pretty." He always says that, and it's never convincing. The moon watched us sway, back and forth, my grip grows tighter. Thank you.
I'm just gonna bend over. Again, thank you, that was so amazing. For our next reader, we have Michael Sanchez. Psych. For our next reader, we have Daria Smith Alvarez.
Hello, my name's Daria. This is the first time I've ever read a poem aloud, so if I'm nervous, I am. Very, very. Okay. My first white lilies to Caleb. 1. My first white lilies came with 2 algae-colored eyes and shells for lips as my feet arched into the sand. A wave reached out to grip me between its teeth, and I dipped my toes into the water. You ran from its embrace, but I dared to walk farther into the belly of the sea. You waited for my conversation with silence to end before exclaiming there was an osprey above us. I conjoined our limbs, arm in arm. We spoke of adventures, love, and unspooled stories. 2. On the black water, glow sticks were set on the sandspit at dawn. A jubilee of joy, the night had spun us in circles, our voices quiet on the empty streets. You tasted like sandalwood on my tongue. The early morning light had shaken me awake, and I whispered my prayers to the wooden walls. 3. The sunset faded with grandeur, angry to be shooed away so quickly it stretched the day for 2 more minutes, so I watched the sparkle in your eyes with hunger. 4. When I am in your arms and my body is vacant of clothes, I am whole. At the touch of your flesh, I am renewed. Those soft kisses against my forehead and trailing along my thighs, I fill myself with you, my love burning like a candle with an everlasting wick. 5. We paddled out, rowing to an island that was surrounded by green hills and a dormant volcano. A group of small brown birds dashed away as our kayaks washed up on shore. Exhilaration as my sword, I plunged it in your chest. Salt dripping from our bodies under the sun, we evaporated.
Again, amazing. So for our next reader, we have David Gomez.
Hello, I'm David. It's the first time I've ever done poetry in front of people like this before, so I'm excited. My work is on page 17, entitled Don Juan Coyote, for Don Juan Blanco. Me and the devil sit in skeletal space between now and tomorrow, always. The devil is an old pale coyote who licks his gums. His ribs protrude and he allows me to caress them. We Texas two-step, infernal mammalian cheek to infernal mammalian cheek, chasing lizards and glances and thick cigarettes in the fecund dust. We embark from the house of ash blind but not ash mute, our boots gliding on broken glass and dumb fuck luck. Me and Dusty Coyote gnaw on a pig knuckle, marrow hungry, smiling and snarling and smiling, suckling suds next to the stained glass jukebox. Willie navigates a whiskey river in whose euphonious eddies and pools we bathe our brittle bones. Thank you.
Our next reader, I'm looking right at you, Mia de la Cerda.
My piece is on page 22, if you would like to read along, and it's titled Generational Burden. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling my name, the ones whose greatest imagination couldn't manifest the reality I'm living. My grandmother, who never had an identity outside of being a mother to my mother, then a mother to me. She who never learned the foreign tongue of the US because she was too busy working, raising, and caring to learn. She who gave up everything so that I could have something bigger than her. She could have done so much more if she had only been me. To trade places with her would be my only hope. Why is it that women must breathe themselves into their children? Thank you.
Honestly, that looks like so much fun. Now it's my turn. So, if I'm going to start with a poem and then read a prose piece. So, if you turn to page 23, you'll find my poem, To My Dead, To Me, Pasture. This is, in fact, a letter. This is your sign, O prophet, to let your mountainous flame be felt. How is my light a sin? I love Jesus too, as melancholic as he is. Who wouldn't love a muscular man that would die for them? Today, I touch myself to the thought of him. I believe it's called prayer. He must have felt lonely on that cross. I would be an osprey perched on the wooden branch. He, an alligator, meant to devour our sins, bruising and picking his body as if he were Prometheus. And now this one's long as hell, so you're gonna have to excuse me. So this one's called La Malinche, and it's on page 52, Malinche. So, no one on the street really liked her, and she knew it, as much as she tried feigning ignorance. They viewed her as a modern-day conquistador, a vendida. Her grand opening sign that hung proudly on the once brick-and-mortar corner store was a symbol of palatability. She was a conformist, as much as she tried to fight against the label. She had 2 tattoos on both arms, one of La Virgen de Guadalupe and the other of Santa Muerte. It was sacrilegious. She offered faint smiles to the vendors who came to scrutinize her so-called reclamation of Latino spaces, asking, did she for 1 second think who she was reclaiming them from? She often tried reasoning with her opposers, saying something along the lines of, I worked for this. I didn't force them out of business. And my personal favorite, the investors sought me out, not the other way around. Did she say this for our sake or for her own? Who was the vendida trying to convince? My parents took to calling her La Malinche, which quickly spread through the rest of the street. She became painfully aware of her nickname when she had tried offering her artisanal Mexican coffees to the taco shop owner and his wife a door down from my family's paneria. Dirty horchatas, she called them, and if I'm being honest, they were quite good. She did try to capture the essence of our culture at the very least, probably realizing that nothing she did would change the minds of the old and stubborn. She ceased all efforts to make amends. I wonder if she knew that Santa Muerte is quite possessive, refusing to share her subjects. When the shop owners had realized their children frequented her shop, they called upon the mysticism of our ancestors to force us into obedience, into traditionalism. They called us vendidos, after all. Aren't all Mexicanos who aren't Mexicano enough a vendido? Like her, we became live avatars of La Malinche, a woman just trying to survive the effects of colonization, this time with a cup of coffee. Thank you. Mateo, Perez, Lara.
Thank you. Hi. Oh, yeah, that's good. Woo. Okay. My poems are on. They start on page 68, but I'm just gonna read 3, so bear with me. The first poem I'm gonna read is called Vivarium. This is basically about a time where I was going to therapy and I was doing it behind my family's back, because you know how traditional Latinx families are. And then I finally told them, and so this was kind of how I felt at the beginning. So, Vivarium. vivarium which encloses your deepest fear of men, or perhaps yourself. You lost emotion, you lost. Yet you cling so much these days to a little messy hope. You cope endlessly, which feels like resentment most times. But you lick the sweetness that oozes out of each reflection. You do not question, you close your eyes, you close. If one must ask what is missing, first ask what we missed. When they shut our body in, held in one space, being watched, being noticed. You're unable to peer into who you are. You allow all mental swing tatters, physical walls brought down. They do not know, even as they observe who I am, what I need, who I could be. Well, I vomit, I devil, I nature, I stick. Thank you. The next poem that I'm going to read is called Catalyst. This is a poem about family. Catalyst. They say, little queer from Delano, they think their mother hates them. They drink until scrambled. How do you prepare for endless smothering? Everyone still picks the grapes, picks up the pieces that broke in the heat wave. Throw memories in the fire, like my mother who does not remember the past. She asks me not to write about her until she is dead. She cannot stomach what the past could say that I say clearly so she understands. Why did we move so many times? We did not belong anywhere, not in this family, not in the love, not in this body. And now I cinder the ground, melt into salt-licked men who salt-licked me in the trench, in the valley, never knowing time is wasting, waiting to explode in my glitter gut, leaking everywhere on him, then staining, shimmering on all my family's clothes. Thank you. This last poem is called Lexapro Witch. It's about being medicated. And just, some people judge people for having to get medicated to feel better. Mental health is important, everyone. Lexapro Witch. They say blasphemous as I treat depression, anxiety, as haze. A ghost works inside my belly. A fog murmur helps restore balance. I put my hands on the slandered rock, smash it flat with wood, water. I fashion a knife. Now where's the bird? I require a certain natural substance in the brain. They promised me stars. I don't see them yet. Now where is the man? Where is the moon? They said he was my selective lover. Serotonin drips from his sweat. I lick everywhere. I lay out my materials on the blackened slab, one pinch of inhibitor, one wet reuptake, a fire to liquefy the evidence. They promised improvement, but the bird is dead. The energy flows from my prostrate thighs. These feelings of well-being decrease nervousness. They promised me. Burn the hair, burn his fingernails, his cum on your face, sacrilegious battle paint. Sprinkle with flurry the shimmering dust from his bone. They said you would smile within a few months, but you're blunt. The lie radiates like hot breath off them. They promised. You take the matter into your own hands, slit the throat, drain the blood, mash into paste, then rub it all over you into the creases and stretch marks and wait till morning. They promised. Thank you.
Before continuing, I do want to take a brief moment to appreciate the wonderful artwork and the visual artists that were being published in this year's journal. You can see them on the projector right here passing by, so yeah. As for our next reader, it's Brian Rojas, who is actually the artist who designed the cover.
I thought I was Mexican tall until I met Juan, and I was like, oh, never mind. So my name is Brian Rojas. First year MFA thank you to CWAA for everything, for putting this together. Very honored to have not only my work on the front, but to have my work inside as well. So thank you to everyone who's committed to this, to allow it to be here in our hands, in our ears, in our minds, in our hearts today. So thank you. My poem, I'm trying to remember what page I'm on. 72, for anybody who wants to follow along. I got two pieces I'll be reading. This first one is called Padre Octli. I watched the waterfall of cheap American beer leap from aluminum cans, one after another, como un corriente corriendo. It swam and splashed across the million black espinas covering his head like liquid fireworks shot against the brown-red earth. He gasped, searching for air, being told he didn't deserve it. He was to be cleansed, baptized, washed away, drowned, and that which had swept him away years ago. Her tears streamed down her face, steaming, as they ran down the fuming surface of her white skin, red with memories of the last 15 years. As she leaned over the sink, watching his life run down the garbage disposal, that wet, black, shimmering abyss, it fell from his face, a clay-fired mask of a valiente, shattering on the beaten white sink, revealing wincing tears of el borracho. I'm sorry that I found the cans when taking out the trash. I didn't know. Thank you. This next one is called Como Aguas Frescas. These tears, finally, are not tears of pain or of sorrow or of sadness. They are in fact ancient waters coming up to the surface, washing away the years, the centuries of scorched waters, my inheritance. We move together into the future and back to the beginning. These waters move through me from the first waters, through to the first migration, through the deserts and the oceans, mountains and jungles, through the blood and smoke, sweat and prayers, through the gritos y canciones, through the concrete and the asphalt, through the beer and the bruises, through the when is daddy coming home, and through the would it be okay if I stayed here tonight. It moves through the dark and the light, through to my heart, pumping agua de Jamaica hecho con las flores de mis abuelas, then to my mouth, touched shyly so as not to let out the thousand screams of 1,000 years. Finally, the water falls from my eyes and my nose flares and I smile. These waters have traveled for so long, seeking refuge in this ocean of our love. Olin. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Our next reader is Jasmine Leiva. Right? Okay.
All right, thank you all. This is my first time reading anything I've written, and it's about my dad, so, yeah. Okay. It's called Capricorn Twins. I used to think that I was born fully formed. I felt alien to the people in my family. I was not pretty and obedient like my cousins. I clawed against everything expected of me. I told myself the lie to create space between me and the truth. I am moody like my father. I worry about the seemingly inevitable every minute of the day until I find relief in something outside of myself. I want to be pragmatic and strong like my mother, but even she has dropped grenades in my lap, saying things like, "You're just like your dad," or "Eres familia Leiva." She makes it clear these are not sweet things to savor. My father is a revolutionary stuck in an old man's body. He broke his knee climbing mango trees as a child. He plants corn and beans and squash and fruit trees that bear babies he spends more time with than he ever did his own. I have no resentment, only love for a man who is painfully human. Today I drive up to his house and he sits on a tree stump sharpening his machete, one of his favorite gardening tools. And I feel at home. His usual greeting, hola hija, ¿cómo estás? And I feel loved. It is simple love. On holidays, he buys oysters to grill on his homemade barrel grill. He delicately pries them open, adding lime and chile, and offers this holy gift to me. I think of countless Sunday mornings he and I spent at Marisco joints, his hangover demanding vuelve a la vida or siete mares. My unending delight is in getting to decide between ceviche de pescado or camarón. Back in the present, he peels nopales to add to the grill. I ask him if they eat nopales in El Salvador, and he says in a most serious voice, no, but I will show them how. I wonder if anything can grow in the space between who he expects me to be and who I am. I will never bring him a grandchild, nor will I bring home a son-in-law for him to dote on. My hair will stay short, como hombre, in his eyes. I will paint it in varying shades of rainbow, como payaso, he says. His seemingly singular pride is a diploma that almost killed me. He stood in the stands, capturing my walk across the stage. If it weren't for the lack of self-service, he'd be on Facebook Live, so half of Chalatenango could see me too. Every day I was not working towards this moment, he would beg me to keep studying. Don't be like me, stuck in a factory job, destroying my body. Study and you can do anything. I promised to keep going while silently cursing everything that robbed him of his opportunity. One of my biggest personal triumphs is forgiving my father for who he could not be. As I dig into my memories, I can shine a sliver of light on the moments he tried. His own father left my mama Nela with 9 kids on a mountainside so he could start a new family by the beach. Oh, how that hurt and abandonment has reverberated through generations. It is not an uncommon story, yet one that has planted thorns in so many paths. When my father's father died, I wrote a poem. It spoke of the softness that could have been. I called my father to try to touch him, but he is too gone. I keep trying, and he keeps offering me lemons and pomegranates from his trees. He calls to tell me he has oysters on the grill. He tells me he is waiting for me. I will never stop waiting for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Our next reader is Blue Charles.
Hello there. I have a poem on page 21 if you would like to read along. It's titled Klonopin. I give the love I never got. I'm lost to memories and afterthoughts with the sweetest peaches around in every state, in every town. People often speak words to me like, you're too beautiful to feel sad, and if I were you, I'd feel lucky. Lucky. A dog I once had, something I've never quite been. I dated an Andy, a Jason, and a Derek too. But no one ever really hurt me quite like you. And most nights I pop 4 Klonopin all powder blue. And as I wash them down with Tito's and Crown, I turn on the black light and I put on some sounds. Some days it's Lennon and some days it's Marianne. It's been 6 months and 4 days since I held his hand. I'm not okay, and it's easier to say I'm normal even when they know that I'm not. But who or what is an eccentric without erratic blues? I've never been mentally right, and often I've been used. They all called me dark and morose, without knowing that I used champagne and Seroquel to numb the hard lows. The existential thoughts really did a pretty little number on me. Kinda like you. Almost there, but never really quite present. My friends, they'll say they're proud of who I've become, but the voices, the ones stitched in every molecule of my being, they whisper words I can't quite articulate. They come late at night, and they won't seem to leave. Maybe I have really lost it. Maybe they should put me back in the hospital or some facility. The worms in my brain all sing their favorite songs. I'm not okay, and in death you're gone. I'm somber, not sober. I'm lost in the smog, and I can't help but love all the love that I lost. I'm not okay, and in death you're still gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Blue. Our next reader is Aidan Castro.
Hi everyone, I'm Aidan. Nice to see you all here today. So my poem, I'm going to be reading two today. It's on page 18 if you want to follow. So this one is titled, "The River is for the Dead." Surface vaults sealed airtight, pressure builds, stagnant air bubbles, preparing to burst at the grave. King's River crumbled, surrounding earth. Families called to handle caskets floating across South Reed Avenue. My bones kayak to Reedley Cemetery. I seek my grandparents' caskets, use rope to connect them by the handle. I connect nerves to my fingertips and feel for escape. I wade in brown water and tie the caskets to a tree that stands in front of their plot. To be suspended mid-air when the water subsides, watch the swollen wooden vessels sink into soggy dirt. Witness others float downriver and be free. Should I cut the rope and let my grandparents escape? Float with them downriver and watch how long it takes before help arrives. Take me away from crumbling disaster and bring me back with hope my home has not been capsized. All right. This next one is titled, "I See You There in Shadow," and it's on the next page, on page 20. And that picture there is my grandparents. My grandmother's walking away, and my grandfather's there in the middle. I see you there in shadow, leaning against geraniums hanging from the tips of grapevine. There is no urgency to scream when I feel you tugging at the leg of my shorts like when I was a child. You visit my dreams, sitting at the dining room table in the kitchen, feeding me even though the heart can never be filled. At night, you walk beside me, moving air, floating over gravel. My lantern and the moon illuminate your silhouette. You watch me build on this land, beyond corn stalks and nectarines, grasping with newborn fingers. Thanks, everyone.